Hey folks, Mike here today with some thoughts here on Ori and the Will of the Wisps. I just beat this game. I previously did a video on the first of the Ori games. It's Ori and the Blind Forest, I believe. And yeah, here I am like a week or two later, playing the games back to back basically. So I'm playing this on PC. If we take a quick look here, the save file doesn't update after you beat the game, so about 11.5 hours to get most, but not everything in the game. Overall, it's a really good game. I mentioned PC, 2560, 1440, 144 hertz frame cap. I know the game that launched on PC did have performance problems. I didn't notice anything. I know they were patched a while ago. And again, playing through this game, I didn't notice anything in particular. So we'll go ahead and load up a save game here from kinda not quite a third of the way, a little bit more maybe, but yeah, let's just kind of quickly go over all the stuff available. So this game's a little bit different than the first. You've got a lot of different tools at your disposal. I don't have all of them here, obviously, being I'm still kind of early on in the game. But it's a Metroidvania style game, so you've got a pretty big sprawling map, all sorts of little secrets and stuff hidden around. Depending on what kind of abilities you have unlocked, some of the parts of the map will be gated off based off of that. And I see we have a race available here, so I might go ahead and do that. Yeah, it's a very beautiful game. The other thing too is there's different characters that you may run across and you can interact with, so that's a bit of a nice touch. If you've played the first one, there's a little bit more interaction and just things to do overall. Oh, I guess I didn't do this event here. Oh, that sucks. I'll just push him in the water. Oh, and I did the same thing twice, so there you go. I'll push that one in the water. So this is a bit of a combat shrine scenario, so go ahead and get rid of all this stuff. Shouldn't be too difficult. So, in terms of what you have available in this game, there's kind of a energy ability that you can use, like I forget what it's specifically called, but you can basically bounce off of stuff, right? So any projectile, any enemy, you can bounce off of them. So if I actually stand back here, I can redirect that projectile back to him and attack him with it. Pretty useful thing to do. Admittedly, I don't use it as often as I probably should. But when I do use it, it's really useful. I don't have any normal attacks in the water, so I'm kind of stuck doing that charge, which, good enough. Alright. So I did that to get a little bit of extra life. But yeah, other than that, you can glide, you can dash, you can stack the that energy move with projectiles and then dash off of that too, which can be pretty useful. Later on, there's actually a projectile you can throw out that you can use to boost yourself. I was gonna say, probably expects me to jump out of the water since I just learned how to do that. So those shards are little upgrades. They all have specific things. So this is my current lineup, as you can probably read. So I got like a triple jump. If I use the arrows, they split into 3. And then there's a couple other shards I can swap in. So these you can swap in at any time. Some of these shards also have various upgrade stages. or levels. It varies. You can see around the shard there's a white circle that fills up. So this one has another level to go. Most of the shards have maybe 2 or 3 levels. Generally 2. But there's the other ones with 3 or 4. So this is a little race. There's side activities here and there, which are useful to get spirit, I believe is what it's also called, which is a currency you can use to upgrade, you know, the shards like I talked about. Or you can also use it to buy new abilities. Probably not going to get this one first try. Ah. No. Oh, I did get it. Oh no, I didn't get that. So that's actually a little place that I've found to be maybe not visually, like there's very rare instances where visually stuff is a little confusing. So there's a specific piece of the geometry, or if you will. You'll see here when I jump up, right there on the left. It's a little dark, and so if you don't notice it, yeah, you can get into trouble like that. And I've had that happen a couple of times where it's like, oh, I might not be able to make the jump. So I hesitated there. But if we actually go and take a look at it again, you'll see. You'll see what I was talking about. Yeah. It just kind of seems like a little piece of background. To be fair, for the most part, I've not had problems like that for the majority of the game, but that specific area, I've done it more than once, and I've had little problems like that with that specific area. So go figure. I've had it happen twice now. Oh, that was stupid. But anyways, I think it's a good game. I like some of the story stuff they did. You know, it's more of a... It's more interactive than the first game in a lot of ways. There's more stuff going on, where the first game was kind of... I don't know, I don't want to say it was like generic, but I feel like there's more variety here, which is, you know, a nice thing to have. The movement's pretty nice too. I think one of the things that I'm a bit less crazy about, but by the end it wasn't a huge problem, is the fact that the world's bigger and there's more stuff. And one of the things I found was that, you know, I've got like 2 primary objectives. Sometimes in games not very clear how to get there. So for instance, this top one was the last one I did, and for a while I thought I had to like go all the way up here, and then it's like, oh, actually, well, I see as it says, find a specific piece. So it happened 2 or 3 times where, you know, I was kind of running around trying to figure out what the heck I'm supposed to be doing. Not a huge complaint per se, but it's always slightly frustrating having to spend a bit of time, you know, figuring out where the heck we have to go, and like traversing the whole map 2 or 3 times just to figure out, oh, I was supposed to do something here and I didn't realize what it was. You know, it wasn't clear, which once you know, it seemed kind of obvious, but yeah, there's just little bits here and there where I don't know, maybe I wasn't paying attention, or maybe it should have been a bit more obvious. Who knows? Aside from that, what the heck's the point of this? Oh, for that. There's... Yeah, I can just bash in here. I don't know why I needed that to do that. But anyways. Yeah, I think if I had a bit of a complaint, like I didn't talk about, you know, the need to maybe backtrack a little bit or try and figure out where you're actually supposed to go. That was slightly annoying, but not a major issue. I feel like I'm missing something. Oh yeah, the auto-scrolling sequences from the first game were not particularly fun. And some of the boss battles as well, I found them to be slightly frustrating to deal with. They didn't really fix that problem in this game. Supposedly did. They improved on it, I suppose, but I definitely still had some boss encounters that were pretty crummy to deal with. So, other than that complaint, yeah, I think that's about it, really. Like, the boss encounters, a bit of a mixed bag. Some of them were actually okay, some of them were a little tough and annoying to deal with. But I think the biggest complaint is that the auto-scrolling sequences improved, but still terrible. So, we'll just run through just to show like kind of another region here. There's something down here to look at. Just show that off real quick. Show off the hub area, and I think I'll wrap it up there. Beautiful game. There's maybe one or two little bits where the game got, you know, a bit of an exception, I'll say. But the game tried to do something a little different, and might have looked a little ugly, right? Some little rough animations near the end. But this is because it was kind of custom stuff. You're looking at it from pretty up close compared to what you normally see. So it looked slightly out of place, and the only reason it looked slightly out of place is because of how pretty the rest of the game was. So it stood out a little bit. It wasn't terrible by any means. It's just, you know, the whole game looks so freaking good. And then you get these little kind of cutscene things zoomed in a little closer. You get kind of a bloom effect that's slightly inconsistent with how nice the rest of the bloom effect looked in the game. You know, that's nitpicking at that point, because there's really not much else I can say negative about that. Surprisingly, I've not actually had problems with like visually losing where I am. It's happened. If it's happened in an area that's really not crucial. And even then, I've found it pretty easy to find myself. Ooh boy. Oh. So I'm gonna try here. Oh, jeez, these guys. That was kind of close. But I'll take it. Hooray! So I can throw on another shard if I wanted. Just throw that up there. I'll just try and survive real quick to the end. But yeah, like, the slight ugliness that I'm talking about is like, they would have zoomed in to, you know, 2 or 3 times closer than here, right? The game is designed to be from a certain distance, and so not really designing a more bespoke thing for what they were trying to do in that specific instance stood out a little bit. Yeah, it's like just blowing up a picture in like photo editing software. It works, but it might not look as good. But again, it's like the craziest little nitpick, really, because the whole experience is amazing. And this is actually, there's a couple parts of this game I really wonder how nice it would look on if it supports HDR, of course. I wonder how nice it would look on one of those displays. At the very least, like the color depth running that on an OLED, it would have been pretty neat to look at. But I have neither of those technologies to play with, so I cannot tell you how good it looks. But I would like to know. I should look it up, actually. I can't recall any coverage specifically talking about some of that. Yeah, another guy here. I can upgrade some of my existing things, or I can buy some new abilities if I wanted. I think that's about it. Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice game. I'm really happy to have played through it. They've done some neat things. I wasn't too sure about it at first. I wasn't quite convinced. There's something that, you know, coming off the first game and then playing this, I was kind of questioning if this was indeed better, and then I don't know, that was like the first 2 or 3 hours or something. Once I got more of the abilities, and I think that's what it was, it's just having a bit less mobility than you're used to from the second game. That kind of made the difference. Oh right, I can't do that. I don't have that ability unlocked at this point. So yeah, I'll leave you guys with that. This was Ori and the Will of the Wisps. It's I think on Steam it's like currently $30 US. But if you have Game Pass, of course, it is available on that program. I would highly recommend people to check it out if they have access to it. So, hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys in the next video.